Donald Trump is launching a new business venture. He's getting into the sneaker game. Take a look. Well, he made the announcement at SneakerCon in Philadelphia. The line features 3 different pairs of tennis shoes, a pair of high tops, a pair of red laceless athletic shoes, and a pair of white laceless athletic shoes.
I've wanted to do this for a long time. I have some incredible people that work with me on things, and they came up with this, and this is something I've been talking about for 12 years, 13 years, and I think it's going to be a big success.
The website selling the sneakers also features a Victory 47 perfume and cologne for sale at $99 each.
All right, you happy right now? I got something to say. Trump, let him know. Proud moment.
So what was your winning bid?
$9.
And let's see the signature. All right.
So, bought a pair of sneakers. These sneakers. And apparently, they made me a Russian oligarch overnight. Here's how. Guys, I'm a sneakerhead. I'm also a U.S. Army veteran. And yes, I am a Republican. The title of the article read, "A Russian oligarch spends $9,000 on sneakers to support Trump." Sounds sketchy, but I actually came from Ukraine. At the time, it was part of the Soviet Union. I came here at the age of 13 as a refugee, but my dad had $4 in his pocket. I busted my ass working every dirty job under the sun to get where I am today in order to be able to afford to buy these $9,000 pair of collectible sneakers. But I guess the headline of Russian refugee, Ukrainian refugee, or perhaps maybe just a man, that would not get as many clicks as a Russian oligarch. I even saw a tweet from a Ukrainian patriot that said, a Russian shady watch dealer bought $9,000 pair of sneakers as a way to move money to Russia somehow. Of course, I kindly asked the author to check the fact that my own charity raised over $250,000 of aid to Ukraine since that war has started, before putting out accusations of stupid tweets, if you will. I wasn't trying to make a political statement by buying these shoes. Of course, the internet blew up. I'm getting comments and messages from on IG from people saying, "Oh, I am no longer following you, or I'm unfollowing you because you are a Trump supporter and I'm no longer doing business with you." It's funny, here I am, maybe I'm silly. I thought that people done business with Luxury Bazaar because we've been in business for 21 years, because of trust, because of personalized customer service that we provide and great pricing. But I guess I was wrong. You know what saddens me the most about this whole situation is that over something as stupid as a pair of sneakers, it showed me so clearly once again on just how divided our country is. With that said, guys, there's not a mean tweet in the world. There's not an IG post. There's not a news article that's going to stop me from being who I am. And that is a patriot of this country, a country that once let in a 13-year-old immigrant and gave me the opportunity to be where I am today. And I'm going to be thankful for that for the rest of my life. You want to hate me for wanting this country to be great again? Go ahead and judge the sneakerhead. But no matter what, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May sound cliche, but that's how I feel. Thank you, and God bless America.
Hours after he launched his new sneaker line in a surprise visit to SneakerCon in Philadelphia, the gold never surrender high tops officially sold out. No word yet on if the limited supply of $399 kicks will be restocked.
Why did Navalny all of a sudden die at this point in time? I first of all agree with President Biden that Russia is responsible for his death. Also, what happened in the few days leading up to his death? Well, we had former President Donald Trump essentially say that Russia should attack European countries. That is crazy. That is traitorous language. Russia certainly was listening, and I think they thought, hey, we now have a green light to do all sorts of crazy stuff. And if Trump would be president, Putin would have even more latitude.
And why is Donald Trump so enamored of Putin? Well, part of it is he's a wannabe dictator. He has told us that repeatedly. He even said the other day, let's basically get out of NATO and, encourage Putin to do what he wants to do. How absurd a statement that is cannot even be, measured because you are essentially giving a green light to a murderous, brutal dictator.
Ambassador, you were the ambassador to the United Nations during the Trump administration. Are you and the former president on the same page when it comes to Russia?
Not at all. I mean, it's amazing to me how weak in the knees he is when it comes to Putin.
Trump does not stand up to Vladimir Putin. He does not say anything that could be remotely critical of Putin. He didn't while he was in office. He didn't while standing next to him in Helsinki. He hasn't done it since leaving office as he's trying to get back into power. Talk to us about how the idea of Trump return potentially imminent, how that loomed over the gathering in Munich, how those world leaders reeling from this news of Navalny's death, Putin on the rise, as you mentioned earlier in the show, and the idea that someone who is cozying up to Putin every chance he gets might soon be back in the West Wing.
So it sends a chill down the spines of many European leaders, obviously. They feel as never before the threat from Putin and the idea that America's next president might be somebody who will seek to do a deal with Putin that's advantageous to Putin at Europe's expense, I think is just, they dread that. So they're trying to push back. They're trying to rally their own spirits. Ali, I wonder if Republicans really can carry Putin on their backs, in effect.
Well, you say doing what Donald Trump wants him to do. Donald Trump has not responded directly at all to Navalny's death. Last night he was attacking prosecutors at his rally in Michigan. He's posted dozens of times on his Truth Social media app calling Biden an incompetent president, so it's not as though he hasn't been speaking. This is the likely Republican presidential nominee, Donald Trump. How do you feel about the fact that he has not said one word about Navalny? He's had harsher words about Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, than he has had about Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, I mean, look, Donald Trump, as you pointed out, said just a few days ago that he had told a NATO ally that he would encourage Putin to do whatever he needed to do, whatever he wanted to do. He's basically made clear that under a Trump administration, the United States is unlikely to keep its NATO commitments. And I think that Republicans who understand the importance of the national security situation, who continue to support him, are similarly going to be held to account. You know, when you think about Donald Trump, for example, pledging retribution, what Vladimir Putin did to Navalny is what retribution looks like in a country where the leader is not subject to the rule of law. And I think that we have to take Donald Trump very seriously. We have to take seriously the extent to which, you've now got a Putin wing of the Republican Party.
Putin is probably the richest person in the world. Probably the richest person in the world. Forget all these ratings that people have. The richest person in the world. He's also the most, well, not the most evil, stiff competition for that honor, but nonetheless among the top 3 or 4 most evil people in the world. What does he have on Donald Trump that he have to constantly be catering to Putin? Telling Putin, go into these countries, NATO countries. NATO was there to stop Russia, to keep Russia out. They have been successful for nearly 75 years. We will celebrate that security success. And then we have, what's his name? I usually have him nameless, saying he doesn't support NATO and encouraging Russia to invade NATO countries.
He who shall not be named. I know Voldemort well, so there's another guy kind of like him. What do you think? We're all wondering this question, Speaker Pelosi. What do you think Putin has on him? I mean, it sure seems like something, as you've said a few times, given that he refuses to criticize him, that he seems to be a fanboy of him. Are you worried at all?
Well, during the Mueller...
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, we must be sure that he does not step one foot into the White House, not as president or not as anything. He has brought disgrace to the White House, to these presidents. I talked about George Washington. It's also President's Week for Abraham Lincoln. When Abraham Lincoln died, it was embroidered in his coat that night at that theater, one country, one destiny. And he gave his life to unify our country. And now we have someone who had the honor of serving in the White House, didn't consider it an honor, didn't consider his oath of office to protect and defend the Constitution. And on this week, speaking out the way he did about Navalny shows you that he is a person without values. He looks like he's going to be a person without dollars either, but the values are what concern us.
Yes, the dollars.
So I don't know what he has on him, but I think it's probably financial. I think it's probably financial, either something financial he has on or something on the come.
No shame in your illness. Please seek help.